is Yan Kala. He is a project management professional and also agile practitioner with 12 years of experience leading projects. And he is also a mentor at PMI Turkey chapter, leveraging proactive and collaborative leadership to align project outcomes with organizational objectives. And today's presentation is about beyond processes, agile as a living physiological contract, reshaping organizational culture. So let's welcome Yanar. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Daniela. Thank you very much for that great introduction. Let me share my screen.
You can share your screen. Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
sure. Mhm. Okay, can you see my screen? Is a full view
Yes,
or?
yes, all good.
Okay, perfect, good. So a second. Okay, good. So before I begin, I would like to also thank you for that organizing to PMI team. It's very valuable organization, I believe, and I see very project management professional here. Even it's today is a Saturday. As Lenka mentioned that today maybe you do have another plans to do that, but thank you for being here. And being today here probably means one of two things, I guess. Either you are deeply committed to agile learning like me, also make a contribution and insights information exchange, or you negotiated a very strong psychological contract at home that I did. Personally, I do have 10 months old baby, as you can see on the left corner. And today I do have very strong psychological contract with my wife. He is now take care of my baby. And after that Agile Forum done, then I will, let's say, need to spend hours with my kid. So if someone asks me, psychological contract is real, and I can say that today morning I already tested and it's real. Okay. So, Daniela, you already gave the very good introduction, but I do have very brief introduction here as well. Um, my academic background actually coming from mechanical engineering and as well as international trade and logistic management. I do have also engineering management master degree. As you can see, I am a certified project management professional and as well as agile practitioner and Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. I come from a project and program management background, over 12 years experience with unique industries such as aerospace um, and wind energy with more than 700 million euro portfolio managed. And my current and recent work is about the work transfer from one country to Turkey. That's why I involved many complex and cross-functional environments nowadays. That's why actually today Agile Forum is also so meaningful for me. And I would like to give you some insights and also make information exchange between us. So let's start then. Today, I will share under the three chapters I will mention about the psychology contract. The first one, I wanted to also give you the concrete understanding of the what is psychology contract. Then we will continue the other chapters. The psychological contract is the unwritten agreement people feel at work. Is the contract nobody signs, as I wrote here, but everybody feels. It's about the expectation that are not written in the procedure. Like, for example, in the organization, can I risk a risk early? Can I speak honestly? Will mistake become a learning or blame? This, let's say, invisible contract strongly shapes the culture. That's why I said this, you never signed it, because maybe you have your own values, posters, mindsets, and all. But the reality is how you people feel at the organization. And today I wanted to touch base this topic. And before go to the detail and the main portion or the first start is about why Agile today. Because organization currently are in the VUCA world. What was the VUCA? Just to remember, it's in volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So at the same time, customers expect responsiveness and employees expect more autonomy, um, transparency, and meaning. That means Agile is no longer only about the faster execution, and it's also about creating an environment where people can adapt without fear. So on the other thing, Agile is not only an operating model, but it's also a relationship model, I would say. Okay, so how we can make a better understanding about the psychological contract. So the first one we already discussed what was it in the psychological contract. It involves unwritten expectation of the trust, fairness, and support between employees and the organizations. And its contract affects engagement, commitment, and ownership in agile environments. This matters even more because agile depends on the openness, as you know, the collaboration and continuous agreement. And leadership is really plays a major role here because leaders teach people what is truly safe, valued, and expected. We will touch base that leadership topic in the next slides. In my opinion, the leadership behavior in the organization is really key for the agile transformation and agile management. So we will touch base about this topic in the next slides. So continue with the core components of the living agile psychological contract. In my view, living psychological contract in agile teams has four core elements. One is trust and transparency. I'm sure you are so familiar with that wordings, but the first thing is about as a core element is trust and transparency. Trust forms the base for open communication about risk and dependencies without fear of the judgment. Other one is for sure the critical also the feedback and alignment. Frequent two-way feedback ensures continuous alignment and also avoid misunderstanding in the team. Other one is empowerment and accountability. Empowerment shifts the decision making closer to work, reducing bottlenecks and increasing accountability. So if you have an empowered team, then self-driven team will make a decision and the bottlenecks will be reduced quickly. And also, last one is about adaptation and shared ownership. Teams adapt through instrumental planning and embrace shared ownership to focus on the outcomes over output. So when these are present, the agile becomes more than process compliance. It becomes a healthy delivery culture. So those four core components are really key for the agile and also for psychological contract. And in the next two slides, I would like to give you some example how you observe that kind of things in your organization. So I try to give some examples with some moments. I'm sure you already face such a situation in your organization. Let's start with the bad news moment. So let's imagine someone flags a risk early than expected, then the room goes quiet for 1 second. And then what the contract is. So if the next reaction in the organization is curiosity, then speak up. We'll solve it together. But if the next reaction is the pressure, then do not bring the problems, bring cover. I believe you already faced such a situation. The other one is the mistake moment. So let's imagine a defect, a rework, or missed handover shows up. If the question is, what did we learn from that rework, from that defects, then you have a learning culture in your organization. But if the first question is, who did this, then it's definitely you have a blame culture. And let's continue with the decision moment. So a trade-off is needed. Let's imagine between speed and versus quality or cost versus scope. If decisions are fast and consistent, then we trust the judgment. If decisions are approval heavy and person dependent, then in the organization play politics and not priorities. So that's why by observing that, let's say the moments in your organization, you can understand how is really a psychological contract. And another three example, we also see it in the conflict recognition and capacity moments. When functions disagree, does the system promote collaboration or silo behavior? When success is recognized, does the organization reward prevention or heroics? Or when the capacity is clearly insufficient, does leadership protect realism or simply push harder? These moments also reveal the real contract people feel. You can imagine, I guess, again, the familiar scenario in organizations. So priorities keep changing, deadlines stay fixed, and someone says, we can do all of this with the current capacity. If the response is trade-offs and the protection, we value sustainable delivery and realism. So that's why they do not push you. But if the response is just push harder, output matters more than people, then burnout is acceptable, the organization message giving to you. So uh, I know it's not really a concrete topic as a psychology contract, but by, let's say, observing that moments, you can understand how is looking the contract or psychology in your organization. So we will continue with transformation, cultural transformation from traditional to agile. So first thing about traditional cultures, really on hierarchy and rigid planning, which restrict transparency and slow responses to change. You may know that in the traditional culture, you said we fix the scope, we fix the timeline, we cannot change anything else. This change should come at the beginning. So such a excuse, you may face it. So this is limitation of the traditional culture. But what is the agile culture? Agile cultures emphasize collaboration, experimentation, and distributed decision making to enable rapid adaptation. So it is one of the key for the agile to adapt the change and meet customer expectation. And as mentioned at the beginning, leadership role is the transformation is really key. Effective leadership models transparency, embrace uncertainty, and fosters learning from failure to support agility. And the last one is about the benefits of the agile. Agile cultures improve alignment, predictability, employee engagement, and organizational resilience over time. So, yeah, in other words, it's a shift in both behavior and belief, I believe, the transformation from traditional to agile. So until now, we try to make it concrete for the agile, and now for the next slides, we will continue with the leadership rituals and also operating models. As I read here, culture is the shape, but what leaders repeat. I believe you have a leadership role in your organization. We have about 130 people, and for sure we have a leadership role in the organization. And this is one of the key chapter, in my opinion, how the leaders run meetings, react to escalation, and ask questions and respond to uncertainty, creates operating signals. Over time, repeated leadership behavior becomes culture. Let's imagine you have already, as mentioned before, values, poster, principles, but the people on your organization really look what is the reality. So you said, for example, we win together, we value the openness, we have the transparent relationship and so on in the values, in the posters and so on. But at the meeting, as we give you example, someone raised a question and that said, let's imagine he said there is a risk we may it's impact our project. Then if the leadership is like let's say said, hey, we can't accept at that stage, you need to overcome that risk or something like that, then you see it's not exactly matching what is the let's say the visible values in the organization shared value. So that's why it's important leadership role in the organization. So evolving leadership for agile organization. So the leadership, the first what we can do for the agile organization is enable autonomy. Agile leadership, as you know, today is shifting from command to control to servant and coaching styles that create psychological safety. Leaders grow an autonomy by encouraging curiosity, diverse perspective, and also experimentation, accelerating learning cycle. The other one is the create clarity. This is also something like really a issue on the organization to have a clear purpose, clear way forward, and so on. So if the leaders communicate the purpose and priorities clearly, then ensuring shared direction across the team. Clarity then afterwards reduces the micromanagement, improves decision speed, and strengthens also alignment on the outcomes. Last one is about to drive value conversation. So teams move from status updates to conversation focused on the really risk, trade-offs, and unlocking to progress. This enables faster adaptation, better decision, and more consistent value delivery. Maybe some of the organization you spend more time for the status reports, but not so much time to concentrate on the risk trade-offs or for the potential mitigations. So that's why to focusing on the status updates, instead of it, you can also let's say focus on the risk trade-offs and unlocking progress by driving the value conversation in your organization. And we will continue with the rituals as a mechanism for the contract renewal. So, you know, the main principle or main methods for the agile from scrums and so on. So I don't want to make a deep dive for that, but what I wanted to highlight here with that slides. The first one is teams negotiate the scope collaboratively during the planning session. And this is aligned in that case, in the planning session, you align about the expectation based on the realistic capacity early in the process. So that's why planning session is really important for the contract renewal. The other one is the daily stand-ups or daily drum, how we called it. So daily stand-ups also enable recommitment and highlight the risk and dependencies before they develop into major issue. So by using that daily stand-ups or daily meetings, you can identify the risk before they become a risk issue. And you have time still for the mitigate of them. Other one is the sprint reviews. So this foster stakeholder alignment by focusing on the delivered value and transparent discussion of the progress and challenge. And the last one is the respective retrospective. So maybe you know it as a lessons learned. So this lessons learned provide a forum or platform for the teams to reflect, negotiate the forms, and identify actionable improvements. So those are the key rituals for the as a mechanism for the contract renewal in the organization. So all they are not only ceremonies, but they are also mechanism for renewing psychological contract, I would say. So then we talk about the rituals, but what about the practical tools to sustain agile culture? So I would like to give you also the four key elements for that. So first one is about the collaborative team foundations. What I mean when I say the collaborative team foundations, I mean the creating the basic working environment of the team, shared values, expected behaviors, communication norms, and mutual expectation. Agile works better, as you know, when the team is aligned not only on the task but also on how they work together. And the other one is proactive risk and safety checks. So I would like to also to give some more info about that. So when I said this, I don't mean a heavy formal assessment. I mean small but regular practice to understand whether people feel safe to speak up, challenge ideas, ask for help, or surface risk early. This can be through many let's say the elements like short check-ins, respective questions, anonymous surveys, and most importantly, as we touched base before, by observing the leadership reaction in the organization when the problem raised. For example, let's imagine you are in a meeting. A leader can simply ask, "Is there any issue, risk, or concern that we are not saying out loud yet?" So over the time, the quality of the answers tell you a lot about the team's psychological safety. So just you need to observe what will be the answer. Then you understand how colleagues, employees are feel how much safety in your organization. Other one is about as a practical tools, transparency and workflow management. So here, mainly, maybe basically, I'm referring to the like a Kanban boards. For example, in our current projects, we are using Kanban boards like we are listed what we did so far, what is to in progress and what is to do. But sometimes you also see that there are some maybe task or topics which you cannot handle right now, but in the future needs to be addressed. So we also call them as a parking lot. And in case of any issue to be solved in the future, but not necessary to focus today, then we do have also parking lot area in the Kanban board. So you can make that visualization for your task to do and in progress task. Then you will have a transparency and the progress will be more visible and bottlenecks as well. And last one is about the technical excellence practice. So again, I would like to give you the some example about that. So by technical excellence practice, I mean the routines that help the teams produce reliable outcomes consistently. What kind of? So like clear quality criteria, disciplined reviews, early testing, standardization, and continuous improvement. Agile becomes more sustainable when speed is supported by the technical discipline, but not separated from it. So culture in the organization needs both mindset and system support as well. So for example, you believe that you already built up a culture for that, but if you do not have such a supportive technical tools, then you will not really 100% successful with your transformation to Agile. That's why such a practical tools needs to be supported or to be part of the game for the Agile organization. So now we talk about the first chapter. We talk about the psychological contract. The second about the leadership role, also some practical tools. Now we are coming to the end of the session. So we will talk about the engagement, scaling, and conclusion. So for this chapter, my message is keep trust, reduce friction, and deliver value. As Agile grows, the challenge becomes clear. How do we keep trust while increasing coordination? Because many organizations scale practice but lost the trust logic behind them. And when that happens, people may still follow the rituals, but the energy behind them fades. So let's continue how we can scaling agility while preserving the trust. So one thing is about maintaining trust and autonomy. Trust, autonomy, and psychological safety are vital for scaling agility without losing team effectiveness and morale. The other one is the communicates of the practice. This foster cross-team learning and shared understanding without heavy process. And the other one is lightweight alignment and mechanism. OKRs and quarterly planning session balance strategic coherence with the team autonomy. And the other one is reducing coordination overhead. So clarifying dependencies, minimizing the approvals, and clear decision rights reduce the coordination tax. So the goal is not, let's say, here the less discipline, but the goal is disciplined agility. So actually, it's the last page about the conclusion and forward-thinking commitments. So let me close with this. Agility is not only a framework, it's a living psychological contract, and the contract is shaped by every day, by leadership behavior, team rituals, recognition patterns, and decision quality. So if organization wants sustainable agility, they need to strengthen trust, clarity, ownership, and learning in the organization, because agility scales only when the trust scales the first. And those are the key elements for the forward-looking commitments. So agility is a psychological contract, cultural transformation, empowerment leadership tools, and forward-looking commitments. So basically, I come to the end of the project. So I just try to be faster to have some time also for you as well. So any question or any comments about that? Or maybe we can handle it later on. You can just leave your comments, questions in the Teams chat or yeah, Zoom chat, and we can discuss about that. And by the way, I would be happy to connect with you via LinkedIn, so you can just scan the barcode and we can have a connection on LinkedIn as well.
Thank you so much, Hannah. So if you have questions, Yana is here. 2 more minutes, yeah?
Yeah, good, perfect. So yeah, today we try to understand the psychological contract, different perspective for the agile. And when I see the agenda for today, I see very valuable speakers we have today. And during today, we will touch base many key points. So I believe after combine all that session, then we will have a really good understanding about agile, agility, psychological contract, and the rest.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. I'm sure also. Yes, Anna, please.
Yeah.
You have a question. Yes.
Hi, Jenner. Since we have a
Hello,
couple,
Anna.
1 or 2 minutes, I would like to ask, what is, for you personally, the biggest learning or the most interesting insight from Agile that inspired you the most?
For me, to have a really transparent and trust-based communication is the key. Uh, Actually, maybe I can explain like this. In my previous role, I do have a PMO manager role, and the organization was giving me authority to do something to the team members. So without any leadership, but even by using my title, I could do something else to my team or to colleagues because the title give that strong to me. But in the recent work, actually, we do have a cross-functional team which do not have direct reporting channel to me, but project basis we are coming together with the team. So that means for the project basis, they are reporting to me, but they do have also their own operational business and they do have their own managers and so on. And in order to manage projects successfully, actually in an agile way, uh, what I see as a key is the transparent and trust communication. Because if you have a built up a transparency, then as we touch base a few areas in the slides, you identify the risk earlier. You do have really understand what the team needs. What would be, let's say, the bottlenecks in front of the project. So by, let's say, getting the feedback from the team, honestly, transparently, so it helps you a lot. That's why in my personal life also, I always put the baseline transparent and trust basis communication, and I see many benefits of it. So I hope I answered your question, Anna, but I will say this one is very key.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for your question, Anna. Was very great.
Thank you. And we also have a question from Ugo. Which are the challenges during what are the challenges during the transformation? And one from Mariana. How do you deal with resilient stakeholders, functional managers?
Yeah. Okay, so for that, it's another topic I experienced at my last work actually. There are some priorities. So as I said, I do have the project basis organization, but the organization team, project team members also have some operational business as well. So in order to successfully manage the projects, sometimes I need to take some priority from the team members, but that time they said that. we can do that because I do have that operational business. Let's imagine we do have a project, but in parallel, they need to do something, some improved activities in the serial production on the shop floor. So they said my manager, my functional manager requested to focus on it, and I can't support for project for a while. Then what I try to do, again, the transparent and trust-based communication. I just try to understand what is really need for their operational business, what is really priority. So if it's really that operational business is priority, then I can do that. Okay, go ahead with that. So I can handle anyway, maybe by using the risk contingency in the projects with buffers and so on. But always try to manage that conflicts with the open communication. Maybe first directly talk with the team members for sure, without moving to the functional manager. Because as I said, I built a trust-based communication, and they can really mention me openly what is really important priority for them. So I try to understand and I support them to manage their way. So agile is also like this, right? So the self-driven team. So they know what to do. They know the priority. So I can just try to understand and support them. And at the end, enterprise benefit or organizational benefit is the most thing. So if they say the functional or operational business are more critical than today for the project, then I can give that flexibility to them. That's also empowered or strengthen our relationship within the colleagues. So functional conflicts, I always try to make open communication with the team. Uh, First team members, then if necessary, I can move to the also functional managers as well. But always I try to handle this kind of things directly with the team, like my engineer, my colleagues, so not moving to the manager, because otherwise it may, let's say, feel them like why like Yener is moving to my manager. I can do that. I can also answer that question. So I don't want to create such a things in their mind and not break the relationship. And Daniela, you mentioned also one question from Go. I guess it was about this question, or Anna, another question.
Yes, we have two more questions, but we have just 1 more minute. So
Okay, okay.
the one related to the how to gain trust of a team that sees Agile coach as next one to tell them stories.
Can you repeat again, Daniela? Sorry, I couldn't get you well.
How to gain trust of a team
Mm-hmm.
that sees Agile coach as next one to tell them stories. Another person that
How to gain? Yeah. Actually, I do have some tactic for that. Time by time, I'm also sharing via my LinkedIn. Like for example, what I am doing, maybe the last things I can just briefly mention. I am sharing like a weekly touch point to the entire team with the entire organization. What I am doing each week, I am sharing. I am introducing one of my team member, like what is his background, what is his experience, and how much he is in the company, and what is add value he is adding to the project and the company. So such introduction I am sharing weekly basis with the colleagues, plus with some keynotes. For example, today or this week we face some issues or the risk which are not identified before. Then while I am sharing that introduction, I am also adding one more, like a 1 minute learning chapter, like in case of how to make identify the risk earlier, such a learning chapter, 1 minute learning chapter. So by sharing such a introduction for my colleagues, project members, weekly basis to entire organization, and also adding with such a let's say 1 minute learning topics, and also way forward thinking, I am adding some questions. So I see day by day they feel like they feel themselves like a valuable, and they want to do let's say increase the contribution to the project, to the team, and they want to make a quick adaptation all the change. Time by time I see the customer request, or maybe for the work transfer, the other countries which we are transferring the work has some request which we need to adapt quickly, or which we need to maybe take a quick decision and action. They always support for that, because they feel themselves valuable, uh, and they want to make a contribution to the project. So what kind of techniques? As I said, a few tactics I do have, but one I would say just came to my mind first is to introduce my colleagues, entire organization, just to emphasize how much they are valuable for me, for our team, for our organization. So it helps me a lot.
Yeah.